Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, gamers across the globe, boys and girls, Assassin's Creed Shadows has caused quite the controversy for our dear sweet Ubisoft out there. Yes, being the very first game in the series' franchise's history to ever actually be based in Japan, where, I mean, literally the whole series is about assassins, which are basically ninjas, for a lot of the kind of sneaking around and the kind of tactics they employ. This should be an easy home run. This should be an easy knock it out of the park. I mean, literally, Japan's all about the ninja thing. You'd think this would be an easy way to do it, but oh, boys and girls, Ubisoft, like we know, has been one of those that has been completely and totally possessed by the spirit of the age and taken over by acolytes of the cult to push their agenda in every form that they possibly can, trying to rewrite history. And of course, anybody who calls them out on that kind of stuff, and even the Japanese people themselves whose history they are rewriting, boys and girls, well, you get labeled with the same old tropes as it always does. You're just a racist, you're just a hater, you're just a bigot, you're just a theist. Same old nonsense, that just another day ending in Y. And ladies and gentlemen, the best part is when you get to watch these people try to backtrack what their statements obviously said, because of course they don't actually ever understand the context, and at the end of the day they end up all looking like fools and deserve to be shamed, boys and girls. And making shame great again around here is one of those things on this channel we absolutely love to do, and Alyssa Mercante certainly deserves to be shamed, boys and girls, because as you can see from this lovely headline from our dear sweet friend John F. Trent over at That Park Place, Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante plays dumb and blames Mark Kern after she describes Japanese people as racist for calling out Assassin's Creed Shadows. And the real question is, plays dumb? I don't know, boys and girls. There's an old saying that I'm reminded from my grandfather all of the time. It's better to keep your mouth shut and let everybody think you're an idiot than open it and erase all doubt. At this point, boys and girls, I think Miss Alyssa Mercante certainly has erased all doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get this article from That Park Place, get you all the juicy details of exactly what this moron has said now. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe and or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are inching our way closer and closer to 900 on both Rumble and YouTube, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below and let us know if you feel as ridiculous and silly as all of us do hearing this nonsense and the same old piss poor excuses coming out of someone like Alyssa Mercante all over again, boys and girls. Or do you agree with her and you really think all of our legitimate criticisms are just from a place of hate? Please let me know in the comment section down below. So from John F. Trent, Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante played dumb and put the blame on Mark Kern, aka Grums, after she described Japanese people as racist for calling out Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Mercante initially reacted to a statement from Ubisoft addressing the backlash the company has been receiving for its Assassin's Creed Shadows game. The company has received a significant backlash on social media, on YouTube, and in the form of a change.org petition. And then they go on to talk about the change petition's got like 96,000 signatures. They go on to talk about, of course, YouTube is showing Kondo's video talking about the Japanese and signaling the petition and taking issues with the game, giving all the historical context. A lot of this stuff is all things we've been over before. If you need more information on that, either go check out these guys' videos, go check out the whole article over at thatparkplace.com for yourself, or go out and check out some of our videos that we've talked about all of this stuff in length already. So they go through all the history of that. We go through the apology, which is a video that we just put out the other day, talking about all of this exact same kind of nonsense about how it's such just a BS, nonsensical, non-apology apology. It's really a bunch of garbage hot take stuff. Personally, I thought it was a trash apology and not actually coming up and actually representing or like actually addressing any of the legitimate issues and criticisms that a lot of people, not only in Japan, but all around the world have with the rewriting of history and inappropriately representing Japanese culture. But of course, that doesn't matter, boys and girls, because we're just a bunch of hater racists, aren't we, Alyssa Mercante? Because Mercante responded to this post, which was specifically addressed to Japanese players, because in the statement, they specifically address the Japanese people and their complaints about the game, and even specifically talk about the different kind of things that they ripped off of Japanese culture without permission or utilized in an inappropriate way. They specifically addressed those things. Did Alyssa even actually read the full statement or the full apology, or did she immediately just have a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that Ubisoft was filing an apology out there? Methinks one is more likely than the other. What do you think, boys and girls? Mercante responded to this post, which was specifically addressed to Japanese players, by writing on X, "Maybe just say your racist response to a video game is indicative of moral decay. Get bent instead of this." Oh, yes. Because Ubisoft specifically addressing and apologizing to the Japanese people is apparently a racist response, according to Alyssa Mercante. So this makes me think she did not actually read it, but instead just wanted to go out there and try to own those racists out there for all of her sycophant cult member followers that she's got out there who clap like this every time she makes a stupid comment like this. That, boys and girls, I would bet you dollars to donuts, is the more likely situation. And to go on and show that even more she didn't really understand the full context of what was going on, she decided to write an article over at Kotaku, which, how this woman still has a job, I have no idea. I don't know whose pictures inside of that company she currently has the blackmail material on, but holy cow, you literally are just going to sit back while she burns through all of your money and torches your entire institution to the ground. Hey, good luck, Kotaku. You get what you deserve. From there, she published an article on Kotaku claiming that anyone criticizing Ubisoft was just engaging in hate. Her headline blares, "This was never about anything other than hate." Oh, yes, because clearly no one else could ever care about historical accuracies. No one could care about history actually being true and shown in an accurate manner. No one would ever care about that. Oh, that's right. This is just gaslighting from the people that want to rewrite and erase our history because it doesn't fit with their own current political agenda. Where have we seen this before? She declares in the article, "A fledgling." Fledgling? Have you seen the amount of dislikes that the trailer for this game has, not only in the US, but also in Japan? "A fledgling but ferociously loud group of gamers will tell you Assassin's Creed Shadows Backlash is about respecting Japanese culture or refusing to accept woke ideologies that are being forced into the games by consulting groups who hold no real power." If they hold no real power, how is it that every game that they're involved in keeps not only going broke, but it's because they went woke with the game? I'm sure you're right, Alyssa. They have no power whatsoever. But just like in 2014, during the full-throated iteration of Gamergate, this was never about anything other than hate. Oh yes, of course, Gamergate had nothing to do with the fact that someone was literally sleeping around for good game reviews inside of the video game industry for a game that was absolute hot garbage. No, I'm sure it had nothing to do with any of that. Mercante supports this claim by writing the response to Ubisoft's post was exactly what you'd expect. Racist image, slurs, and calls for historical accuracy in a video game series that has always been steeped in science fiction. An unpublished community note, a feature frequently used by users to add context, reads, "Assassin's Creed blank Squire." Well, if you did see a community note like that, for one, I honestly think you're lying and you didn't see that. Why didn't you screenshot it? Where's the proof of that? Why is that not in your article? Well, that's right, because it probably didn't happen. And even if it did, let's just give her the credit and say it did. Is there anyone on the face of the planet that has a halfway decent working brain cell in their head that did not think the people who run X would have not had it removed instantaneously? Come on, boys and girls. Not only does Mercante declare that Japanese gamers and others criticizing the game are just fueled by hate, but she absurdly claims it's connected to U.S. politics. She writes, "The reactionary right-wing movement in gaming that has reared its ugly head yet again is no different, and it's happening right now for a reason. Sociocultural issues are reaching a fever pitch in an election year, just like 10 years ago." Well, that's funny because you even said that Gamergate was in 2014, which last I checked was not an election year. That would have been 2015, and your boy B.O. Barack Obama was still president. But that's okay because historical accuracy doesn't fit your narrative. Just like the historical accuracy of Japanese culture and the actual historical character, actual historical figure of Yasuki doesn't matter because it doesn't fit your agenda, does it? Literally, she contradicts herself in her very own article. This is absolutely insane. Social cultural issues are reaching a fever pitch, and in an election year, just like 10 years ago, political ire is bleeding into pop culture. Whoa, wait a minute. I will grant you it is. But that's because people like you, Alyssa Mercante, and the rest of your ilk shoved politics into every single aspect of pop culture and what is supposed to be escapism. Because people like you pushed your political agenda into every aspect of our lives. That is why you see this bleeding over. Because no one can escape from your political agenda that you've literally pushed into commercials on television now. So yeah, you did that. And now you're complaining about it? Oh, that's right. Hypocrite, double standards, no standards at all, etc., etc. Where it has been seized upon those looking to take advantage of naive, impressionable young men who are shunned in public, but lauded and even loved online. She's calling you all incels. Every single one of you who watches a video that complains about this, to every single one of you who complains about this yourself online. Yes, you're just a bunch of impressionable, naive, young idiots who can't think for yourselves, can't reason for yourselves, and can't look at facts on your own. No, you're just a bunch of sheep that follow whatever talking head you're currently listening to on the internet. That's what she thinks of you. That's legitimately what she thinks of you. And we wonder why these people fail. No. I believe in ultimate free speech because I believe every individual out there was blessed by God with reason and the ability to look at things and fairly judge them for themselves. Are people going to make mistakes on their judgments? Absolutely. But collectively, as a culture, time and time again, we have collectively, culturally made the right decision and gone in the correct direction. Which is exactly why you see people like Alyssa Mercante and the rest of her ilk losing power. Because the culture collectively is smart enough to reject the nonsense that they have been pushing, and everybody smells your stink from a mile away, which is why Assassin's Creed Shadows is getting the backlash that it currently is. Not because we're sheep, but because we're smart enough to see through your bullshit, Alicia. That's why. She eventually comes to the conclusion. There will never be a shortage of hate for them to spread. The only way forward is a full-throated denunciation of bad actors in the video game space from the biggest names in the business, the largest companies in the industry, not a bizarre, ham-headed statement that will lend credence to their baseless bullshit. That implies that their arguments are rooted in logic when hate itself is illogical. Well, boys and girls, this is just another example of Alyssa Mercante using the same mob bullying tactics that they have been using for years to force these companies to bend the knee to their insane ideology and push nonsense that no one agrees with, specifically the customers that buy their products don't agree with but they are convinced and blackmailed into believing will sell to the mainstream audiences, which has failed time and time again. And that's exactly what she's doing right here. Alyssa Mercante is nothing more than a bully. She's using the exact same mob tactics that we've seen happen time and time again. Hey, you know, if you give us a little money, you know, we'll protect you from a lot of the riffraff in this neighborhood. Because you know it's a really rough neighborhood. It's a really rough neighborhood. It'd be a horrible thing if somebody came by and, you know, just smashed your window in with a baseball bat like this one right here. Oh, what happened to your window? Man, you should get somebody to fix that. You know, these things wouldn't happen if you just pay a little protection money. You know, if you just say the right things. If you just hang this flag in your window. You know, if you just insert these certain things into your video games. We won't send the screaming mob on Twitter after ya for being a bunch of racists. You don't want that, do ya? Like I said, people are starting to see through their bullshit mob tactics, and they're not buying it anymore. Which is once again why Alyssa Mercante deserves to be shamed, boys and girls. So following the publication of the article, Mercante shared a number of posts reacting to the article, heavily criticizing as well as insulting her. She blamed Mark Kern, aka Grums, for these responses. Mercante wrote on X, "This is all happening because Mark Kern tagged me from behind a block and said that I'm attacking all Japanese people when I don't even mention them at all." Oh, that's right. You don't specifically mention Japanese people. No, you just say that Ubisoft's apology, that's not really an apology, to the Japanese people is just bending the knee to all of these racist bigots online. Because, see, once again, Alyssa Mercante, you put your foot in your mouth. Because you didn't read the full apology that Ubisoft issued out there. You didn't understand the full context of what was said. Because then if you did, you would not go out there and say that Ubisoft's apology to the Japanese people is out there just trying to kowtow to racists. So yes, did you do it intentionally? Call the Japanese people racists? No, probably not. But by your own oversight, by your own assumptions, by your own knowledge of thinking that you're the smartest person in the room and that you know exactly what is going on and you don't need to read context, you don't need to understand where anyone else is coming from because you know best, has once again gotten you in hot water and has gotten you called out for it. You can blame Grums all you want. You can blame me. You can blame that Park Place. You can blame John Trent for writing the article. But at the end of the day, once again, as is usual, per your record, Alyssa Mercante, your mouth has overridden your ass. Your mouth has written a check that your ass can't cash. Because you decided to say something half-cocked and then had to double down on it with an article for all of your sycophants out there that follow you on social media. But that's okay. Because we see through your bullshit mob tactics. And we're not going to put up with it. You can call us a racist. You can call us whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, your words mean nothing anymore. You have no power here anymore, Alyssa Mercante. But what you do have is a right to speak your mind. Because I fully support you to continue doing that. And let Kotaku continue publishing your articles and let they continue to lose money. And continue speaking your mind, Alyssa. Because it gives me an excuse to call you out and shame you. Because you deserve to be shamed, Alyssa, because you say dumb things and you're a moron who intentionally continues to keep themselves as a moron. So keep us speaking, Alyssa Mercante. We will keep laughing at you, we will keep ridiculing you, and we will continue to make fun of you. And we will continue to document the disastrous dumpster fire of all things woke. Because boys and girls, go woke, go broke. And that's the exact direction Alyssa Mercante is heading the more she opens her mouth.